Righto, it is 12:15 in the Arvo, and as you just saw, I bought my hot chocolat into the little sewing area here in the conservatory, and I am going to start creating Mr. Foxy there. Have all the parts cut out, so for those of you that have not caught up with the videos every day, that's okay, but I have previously cut these out. I could not continue because I just had a nasty beginnings of a migraine day before yesterday, and then it obviously escalated into a full-blown migraine all through the night, so I did not have any sleep. Yesterday was a complete wipeout, and here we are today. So yeah, it's kind of downgraded from a migraine to just sort of a regular headache. Anyhow, that is why I had not started on Mr. Foxy, because I couldn't do Foxy, I couldn't really function, period. So, you know, it is what it is, but all the pieces are here. And initially I wanted to stitch him all by hand, however I have decided to opt for machine sewing. I may kind of come across a couple of steps that I think, yeah, maybe I will just do some hand stitches, but for the most part he will be machine stitched, and then see how I get on there. And then obviously once he is complete, I am going to make some clothes for him. Originally I did think of some outer clothes, but then I thought, maybe PJs. I think PJs would be pretty cool, and then that way he could kind of nest anywhere. And PJs now are kind of outerwear, comfort wear. You know, people wear them around the house, not just, you know, for bid time, and obviously go out in the garden in them and everything like that. So why not? PJs are the universal clothing now, especially because they're so comfortable. Alright, so the ear construction. So anybody that has made Mr. Foxy from the Lunar Friends collection will know it's a little bit of a kind of little finagling there with the ear and the way the pieces are cut. And because obviously I've been sewing for a whole bunch of time, I'm just going to stitch this all the way across in one go. So the stitching line is kind of where the pins are, and then obviously just flip him over and you'll see, yeah, beginning of his ear in his head. Righto, so Mr. Foxy is all ears now. So his head has now been stitched right sides together, just turned him out, and this is what he looks like. Obviously when his little head and the rest of his body gets stuffed, he will be a little bit more kind of presentable in shape, but currently he is kind of together in his head there and awaiting stuffing a little bit later. My beautiful tea has just made me a really hot cup of tea. I'm a couple hours in, so it's almost 2:30. I am now going to concentrate on both the arms. Righto, so all of the body components are all stitched, and so the next step is to stuff the little guy. Righto, so everything has been stuffed with the exception of the tail, because I do not want to waste anything. So the little teeny tiny bits left over, they are going to get mixed in with the last little bit of floof, and that will all go in the tail, because I do not like waste and it's good to recycle, and these are really soft anyway because of the felt, and it will be mixed with the fibre fill anyhow. Righto, so all the Foxy body parts have now all been stitched, apart from Foxy's neck, because he has to have his head put on. Ooh, really, he does, I promise you. He has to have his head on his body, and then I can do my best to kind of balance him against the sewing machine. And then you would then attach his arms and obviously his little legs. So that is kind of what I am going to do now, hopefully. And yeah, the light is just starting to fade. So hopefully I will get all this complete. Obviously, yes, there is electricity. I do actually have electricity, but I am somebody that likes to preserve electricity until kind of the last, second. I can actually be stitching in the dark. So yeah, he is coming along.
Hello and welcome back to the wonderful shenanigans of cooking. Woohoo! First of all, we have a tea towel. It looks very impressive. Of course, a tea towel on its own doesn't do much, but next, we have a very big bowl. The first thing that goes into this very big bowl is beef mince. 4 herbs are going into the mix. First up, we have some dill. Second, we have some chives. Next, we have some fenugreek leaves. That was not meant to happen. And finally, we have some coriander leaf. All these herbs are now followed by some dark soy sauce. Additionally, we are adding a personal favorite of mine, some garlic paste. And at last, the final thing we add is some ground black pepper. Although all these ingredients mixed together certainly smells very tasty, in its current form, it's not all that useful. So, I will begin to mix everything together. I need to use quite a lot of force here, as believe it or not, it's got quite a lot of resistance. Now, how many people can guess what we're going to be making? Next up, we will add some additional breadcrumbs. There's quite a lot of these. With all of these breadcrumbs, I can now continue to mix. Unfortunately, despite the valiant efforts of this fork, its journey with us has now come to an end. I will place it to one side and replace it with a spoon. This spoon has quite a lot of use. I can pick up the mix and place it in my hand. We'll do this twice to get enough. Now I will use my hand, one of the greatest inventions of the human body, to create what hopefully will resemble a sphere. Spheres also have additional names like circles. Here we go. This looks like a ball. Yet another additional name. Now, what do I do with this ball? I will place it somewhere. Somewhere such as this very conveniently passed glass dish. In it goes, and look at that. This collection of spheres will not do much good laying here on the stovetop. I will now pick up the spheres, or, more accurately, the dish the spheres are in, and bring them down here. Loyal viewers may recognize this appliance from the spectacle that occurred yesterday. I will open this up, place them in, and shut them away, never to be seen again. These little dials are twiddled, and this button is pressed. Using my magical powers, I have been able to fill this pan with water, but what will go inside? Perhaps this will help us. These, although they are generally known as spaghetti, can also be considered worms. So in they go. Whilst the spherical objects burn away inside of the oven, I will busy myself with making some sauce. Here is a pan, and here's the first ingredient, chopped tomatoes. How very nice. Using a practice known as taking a leak, I will now add another ingredient to the sauce, the leek itself. The next ingredient to be added is corn. Now, a creature with the nickname Chooks go absolutely ballistic for these things. Soon we will see why. Next up is a personal favorite of mine, it's capsicum. Snip, 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 and snip. Of course, I don't only use one, I use multiple, because this is a favorite. In order for these very tasty worms to actually be cooked and therefore edible, the thing that they sit on must be turned on. Down here I will show you how. This is a button. This is a button. This is a button. The process is simple. Much to my own chagrin, I must now introduce one of the worst things that has ever lived on this planet. There are multiple versions of them, however they all remain the same. It's this thing, and it's gone away. See? I hate it that much, I can't even stay in the frame. Look how awful it is, it's disgusting. This thing sucks.
No.
Yes.
Absolute favourite. They're really, really, really yummy. And they make me really, really happy, like lots of people.
Go back to the ground that you came from.
No.
Yes, leave, get out of here, go, out.
So no. So anybody else in the comments, friends, family, whatever, let me know. Do you actually have somebody that really, really likes a particular food, or really, really, really looks at a particular food with such disdain?
Here in TE's kitchen, safety is an utmost important principle of the kitchen. In doing so, I now have these very lovely patterned oven mitts. So, I have hands, and the hand goes in the mitten. Ta-da-da-da. The next one goes in, and look, I'm now fully protected from the wonders of the universe.
And who made them?
You, because
Yay.
you're outstanding.
Jokes. Now, what is going to happen next? Are we going to see how the balls are getting hotter in the oven now?
That sounds like a very good idea.
Let us explore.
Look at those.
Go. So we will turn them over, and the others will start cooking the other side.
The final ingredient that will be added to this pan is something that comes from a land down under. It's red wine, and it's very nice. To go on the side of tonight's dinner, we have something that's doing a suspiciously large amount of mimicry of trees. It's something called kale.